Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, this past week, Friday, Puerto Rican boxing prospect Felix Verdejo, he had his fight against the Nicaraguan Oliver Flores, and that was, Oliver Flores was supposed to be someone that was an easy fight for him. It was supposed to be a fight to where, he had that motorcycle accident. It was a quote unquote safe opponent. Now, I didn't get a chance to watch the fight, so I'm gonna go back and watch it. But from what I've heard, he looked less than sensational, and that's becoming a recurring problem for Verdejo. And I would have to say this is going all the way back to his fight, probably last year when he fought William Silva, I believe. Was it William? Yeah, William Silva on the Terrence Crawford Hank Lundy undercard. I was there. William Silva was the Brazilian fighter, a little taller than Verdejo, and he had a hard time with him. But he was a lot better than compared to the guy he's been fighting now, and he hasn't really had one of those sensational performances that we were used to seeing from him when he fought the guys like Ivan Nahara, and he would look like someone who you look at him and you're like, okay, that's the next Puerto Rican boxing star, like that's the next Miguel Cotto, that's the next, because people were saying that they thought this guy was gonna be the next Miguel Cotto and all this stuff, but he hasn't necessarily lived up to that. If he would have had a sensational performance in that particular fight against Flores, then he probably would have exercised his mandatory position and fought Terry Flanagan for that WBO title, and that's probably not gonna happen now. So Bob Arum had some quotes in regards to Verdejo and his future and just where he's at right now. So here's what he said. He said this. He said, Verdejo did not look very good, but it's something that happens with young fighters. We will have to explore the reasons on why he did not look good last Friday. I do not have the slightest idea on what the next move will be. Everyone is trying to figure out what happened. You have to straighten out the ship. We will explore all aspects of why his performances are not at the same level as they were before. Maybe inactivity, or maybe it's other things. We're going to figure it out. We want to be very patient. Verdejo is a great prospect, and if we reach any obstacles along the way, we will find a way to overcome it. We're not going to rush blindly into a title fight or something else that he's not ready for until we're convinced that he is. And then he said that we want him to fight again before the summer, maybe within the next 2 months. So, I mean, for Verdejo, I like his style. I think he has a lot of tools to be a really good fighter. I just think, first of all, he's very young. If I'm not mistaken, he's probably the same age as me. Verdejo, was he? Let me make sure I'm right. No, he's slightly older than me. So he's 23 years old. I'll be 22 on Saturday. So he's maybe about a year older than me. And some guys aren't ready for this. And they were fast tracking the hell out of him, scheduling fight after fight for the guy. I mean, let's look at his box record. The guy is 23 years old, right? He's 23 years old, and he's already had 23 fights. I mean, how many guys at that age had that many fights? There's only a select amount of guys that you could push at that level and for them to be successful at a high level, and it takes a special kind of, it takes a special amount of skill and talent, but along with character. And I know Felix has the talent, but maybe I don't know about the character. I mean, there's a lot of question marks about Felix. So look, let's look at it like this. So since the start of 2015, right, in the last 2 years, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fights. So that's 7 fights. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, the way he's fighting, the amount he's fighting, and he's gonna be fighting again in June. So for Felix, I think he's just one of those people where they're pushing him maybe a little too fast and making him something that, like, because boxing right now is in a position where you look at if you look at the early 2000s, right? You had Miguel Cotto, you had Felix Trinidad, you had mega Puerto Rican boxing stars, and those are the guys that fill the seats. Those are the guys that bring in the money, right? Boxing doesn't necessarily have that guy right now. I mean, you have Danny Garcia, but Danny Garcia isn't necessarily like a huge guy with Puerto Rican boxing fans. He's a ticket seller, but not amongst like the Puerto Rican boxing fans. He hasn't completely captivated the Puerto Rican boxing market like that. There isn't that guy that exists. Pritchard Colon was kind of pegged to be that guy, but then he had the coma. So with Felix Verdejo, it feels like to me, and I felt this way for a while, that it feels like Top Rank is trying to fill that void that's currently vacant in boxing as far as Puerto Rican boxing stars go. And for a minute, he looked like he could be that guy, but then I would say around the William Silva fight. Once we saw the William Silva fight, that's when we begin to see, the lack of, whether it be skills or strength or character, whatever it may be. We saw the lack of what Felix Verdejo doesn't have to fight at that level just yet. He's 23 years old. Yes, he has an Olympic pedigree. Yes, he looked sensational in the beginning, but I think for them they should slow it down and really just figure out what's wrong with Felix Verdejo, because the guy looks sensational. I don't know where it's gone wrong. I really couldn't tell you. I just know that at one point he was knocking out fighter after fighter after fighter, and then the William Silva fight came up, and it's been downhill ever since then. He hasn't had a knockout win since, in his last 4 fights, and they haven't been against the best competition. He's only has 1 knockout in his last 4 fights, so it's not encouraging if you're Bob Arum or Top Rank to see someone who I still believe has a lot of promise. I think, you look at his weight class, I still think he can beat a Terry Flanagan, but it's clear that something's wrong and it needs to be fixed. So Bob Arum's seen so many situations in boxing, you trust his judgment on this. But let me know what you guys think. Anybody who might have watched the Verdejo fight, how did he look? What do you guys think is the problem with him? I've seen people say that he has the skills, but he doesn't necessarily have the strength to fight those top level guys yet. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about Verdejo. Will he ever live up to the hype or become like a top level fighter that people are expecting him to become? Leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.